I love this whole personal brand thing. We talked about this a little later on with our organizations. We talked about building brands. We talked about your organizational brand. Your online profile is your personal brand. It's what you do. So think about it. I always say, think about it as a Christmas party. Would you do that? Because Christmas parties, you can relax a little. We don't want to be stiff and steady. But think about this as a Christmas. Would you do this at your Christmas party? Would you post this? Interesting story. I met a guy by the name of Richard, and I forget his last name. It was a few years ago. And I read this article in the Globe and Mail, Toronto Star, and I sourced him through my network. There's only 2 degrees of separation to find out if I can contact this guy. And this was his story. This guy was an MBA from Richard Ives School of Business, top of his class, engineer. So I know in this room, it's probably I'll hire that person. And he couldn't get a job. And he had a tough time. And it wasn't until I think it was one of the big consulting firms, somebody stepped outside because they kind of knew him through the network and said, look at your Facebook picture. So he signed up for LinkedIn. His Facebook picture is him and a bunch of buddies drinking beer from spring break. Right? It's not. Is it acceptable? I don't know. For what he was trying to do, it wasn't acceptable. So just be aware that use them effectively. And I talked a little while about part 2, add links. Be relevant. If you have a LinkedIn profile, let it sit there dormant if that's what you want. If you want to be that passive candidate. But if you want people to look at you as a value add links. Go ahead and start doing these things. I mean, Kevin's helping us at Granite individually build our personal brands. And it's funny because some of you just look at it and say, really, is it that easy? It's just pushing information out so people look at you as a subject matter expert. You want people to look at you and say, hey, every time this person does something, I want to read about it. So Twittering today, I mean, I'm hoping we're getting some tweets back is
Twits. Talk about yourself again.
Yeah, exactly. I Twitter a year ago, right? But I mean, we're attaching that, we're delivering that relevance. So it's all about, and I keep saying, deliver relevance through your platforms. Deliver relevance when you meet people. Ask clear statements of what you want. This is the key to me. How many times it is, even recruiters, I mean, you can relate to this. If you have a conversation with someone, you hang up the phone and you go, I didn't ask everything. I wasn't clear. I didn't ask what I want.